now recording.
GM, everybody. I think I muted the lo-fi girl for everybody, correct?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, cool. Hope everyone's having a good day today. I know there's some other people that were planning to come, so I'm just giving it another minute. Everybody have a nice weekend, staying healthy.
Yeah. How was yours, Josh?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I got out trail skiing again yesterday, and a couple times I made a little Nordic track around my backyard too. So I've been having fun with that.
Nice.
That's awesome. I would love to look over in your backyard and just see you skating in circles in your backyard.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, well, let's get started. I think some other people will trickle in, and that's fine. So, let's see. This is ShapeShift DAO vision and values work. So, I think there were a bunch of us that thought this would be a good idea, and it really came up in the process of there have been a couple conflicts in the DAO amongst different parties in different areas of the DAO, and we've been talking about that in different groups and different contexts. And as we've been chatting about that, we realized that we don't even have like vision or values. We kind of have an idea of where we're all going, right? We all love DeFi. A lot of us came from centralized ShapeShift, but there's a lot more of us now. And centralized ShapeShift had a set of values and its own vision. But it's, the DAO is its own thing, and it needs its own self-created vision and values to live and guide us by. And then you talk about vision and mission and all that stuff, and there's many different schools of thought about what what it means, what it is, what exactly is a vision, what's a mission statement, and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to go into that in a big way right now. And so mostly I'm going to describe a process here that we're going to do whatever we can together, real time together. And I've got these meetings scheduled for every other week, and we'll keep them for as long as we think we need them. And maybe we'll skip some, I'm not sure. But I also wanted this process to be able to allow for asynchronous participation because we span time zones and all kinds of stuff. So my hope is that we'll do some work together, and then we will also I'll post up like notes about what it is we did and what others can do asynchronously to participate in this process. And the ultimate goal is to have it's mostly about like values or policies, like ways that we think will that if everyone followed these values or policy statements, ways of acting. I don't, some people could call it like culture statements. Then we feel like the idea is that by the end, we've got something that we all agree on and think if we all acted in these ways, if we kept these things in our minds, that we think we would be able to, not like there would never be conflict. In fact, I think conflict is healthy and necessary and required, but when conflict arose, we would engage in it in a very as healthy as possible. That would be very constructive, and that all of our interactions would help move us forward, and we wouldn't get stuck too many places, right? That's the challenge, is when the way we work together causes us to not move forward. Conflict can help us move forward. We can move through it together and forward. What we want to avoid, if we can, is the kind of confrontations or places where we get really stuck and we stop moving forward and maybe even backward. So, yeah, that's kind of the general idea. We've done this process. We did this when we first talked about moving to with the engineering and product and engineering team, when we talked about moving to an open source code base. And I know Willie took it and did a version of this at Giveth, at the other DAO that he's involved with. So I don't know, Willie, do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. It was awesome when we did it ShapeShift, and it was great when we did it with Giveth. And a big +1 to everything you said. I think we'll likely find that we are pretty aligned with our vision, but just the exercise alone of having the community do it together, we'll probably even end up with a very solid vision statement that we all feel really aligned with, and that we can communicate to anyone who's just wants to really quickly understand the vision for the DAO. So I'm excited for this, and thanks everyone for participating, because the more community members we have involved, the better it will end up being.
Yeah, agreed. It's great I'm really glad that people are showing up to this, and I hope to get a lot of participation. Does anybody else have a comment or question before we dive into some details?
I would just say that it's awesome, Josh. I really appreciate you hosting this. This looks like a great endeavor for the community to participate in, and look forward to the conversation. Thanks.
All right, cool. Thank you for that, Never Was. Okay, so let's, I'm going to share my screen, and that's the screen to share. Okay, so we're going to use a mural board, and this is one of the ways that I'm hoping to be able to, where we can do some work together here real time, and then asynchronously people will be able to contribute to the board also. So that's my plan, and this is the first time I've done this in a remote setting where there's both people collaborating together real time and then us wanting to allow for asynchronous participation. So we'll see and we'll adjust. It's all a big experiment, right? So there's three parts here. One is called stakeholder discovery. Then the second is stakeholders thrive when. So this is like, I call this the thrive statement section. And then the third phase is value ideation. And then we will take it from there. So you can see it's pretty simple, but it's really what we put into it is what we get out of it. So a little bit more about each of the phases. So in stakeholder discovery, we basically just list off all of the possible stakeholders who has a vested interest in the success of ShapeShiftDAO. And then in phase 2, let's see if I can zoom. No, I can't really zoom in super easily. I don't know why. We take every stakeholder and then we put out the sentence, well, for example, full-time contributors thrive when, or customers thrive when, and we basically create as many statements as we can that truthfully complete that statement. And so from that, right, we take a really positive approach to, and there's multiple. So what gets interesting is when two different sets of stakeholders, what makes them thrive creates, there's a conflict between those two, right? And so then from here, we move to this, this value ideation where we take from those thrive statements, we derive some value words or phrases, and then we can have a discussion here. And again, we'll see how a conversation can go using this mural board, like asynchronously across time zones and across locations. And then we basically take this value ideation phase and we continue to distill it down until we get to a set of values. Or this can also result in, like, when you look at how these different stakeholders thrive, a visions is also derived from this or comes out of this work. Any questions about the overall process? Okay. And one thing that might happen is we may not, whoops, that wasn't what I wanted. I'm just going to hide these sections right now so we can stay focused on each step as we go. So this first meeting here, this is the easiest, mostly listing out stakeholders, and maybe we'll wind up, I'm just going to, in a moment, open this up to anybody. And actually, I will post. We're going to make this a publicly available, so pretty much anyone with the link is going to be able to come in here and edit it. So there's going to be a little bit of trust that people aren't going to be lame or delete things and stuff like that. So, but actually, I think what I'm going to do is, one of the things that happens when we're all together, if I just share the link, people just start writing sticky notes, and I actually would like to hear from people. So I think when we're together, I'm going to ask people to speak up and volunteer, and I will drag the sticky notes over and type what you say, just so we can have some real-time interaction around it. And sometimes the small conversations, we want to avoid a lot of crosstalk during this, right? But if someone says something that triggers something in you, something new to add, that's really helpful. So, and then afterwards, I'll share the link. So if you're shy and you don't want to speak, but you've got something that you want to put on here after our meeting here today, I will post this link in a public channel when I post what we've done, and when I open it up to all contributors, and you can add your sticky note then. Okay. So I'm just gonna open it up now and say who's got another stakeholder here that you'd like to have added into our list.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Just as a side note, kind of related to the conversation that you are graciously hosting, I did a forum post earlier today on some thoughts on basically what the product of the DAO is, and how it revolves around the DAO being the actual product. And that might add to some of this conversation, but I will definitely let everyone else put stuff in there, because that was a pretty lengthy post that I put it on earlier today in the forum.
Okay, thanks.
What about Fox token holders as a stakeholder?
Yeah. I think that's pretty true. Next.
Obviously, DAO members themselves, because we are, transacting within the community with Fox.
DAO community members, yeah.
I can imagine it might be useful to break down like customers. I don't know if this is what you want to focus on at this moment, but there's a lot of different types of customers, and the most obvious to me at the moment is there's ones that use our native wallet and there's ones that use hardware wallets and stuff, right? Those are different features and different prioritization. And I don't know if that's appropriate for this slide, but
I'm putting it down.
sounds good.
What else we got?
We definitely want to mention new crypto users and experienced crypto users as possible stakeholders.
Okay.
What about DAO partners?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Next.
We've got a segment of user. Well, actually, I guess I'm hypothesizing here, but I expect that there's users that are mainly like traders, right? That's their primary use case. Whereas people like me, my primary use case is like holding stuff and moving it from one wallet to another, but not, swapping between currencies.
Degens.
Degens.
I figured if we're talking about what type of customer we are, yeah.
I was waiting for someone to say that one.
I don't anticipate this being a main one, but it's probably worth putting security researchers up there. I mean, they interact with the product significantly different, but you could consider it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And I guess going along with that would be like general open source developers, not our full-time contributors, but people that might want to reuse our code or find it useful for other purposes and so forth.
Do you think we could call them community developers? Ocean,
Yes.
what would you call this group of people that are filling out the bounty, doing the bounty work and stuff like that?
Open source developers, open source community members.
Mm-hmm. There's also a strong open source, initiative where people like to be with projects that are open source so they can verify the code and make sure that there's nothing nefarious in there. So that's always, a customer base that they feel safe and secure, being that it is open source.
Okay. Open source users, maybe.
I don't know how. I mean, well, I'll just say it. Our DAO partners' customers are probably in the mix here somewhere too. Like,
Yeah.
not just Yearn necessarily, for example, but like people that have Yearn tokens. I mean, they're also our customers, but whatever. We've got sticky note.
Yeah.
So something that I have, I was listening to a bunch of these older podcasts, and so ShapeShift had this huge market cap or the market usage before it became decentralized, right? Where people were before it went to become a DAO, right? And people loved the fact that it was super secure. They held all their own crypto, and so I would put maybe under security researchers, another customer, I guess, or stakeholder would be someone who sees ShapeShift as something that's like doesn't track your data, like super secure, like very I don't know, safe. So I think that's one thing that I think of at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Our
Definitely.
privacy.
Privacy, yeah, definitely the privacy. Individuals that love their concern.
Yeah,
protection.
thanks for that input. That's good. Another one that I would add, we got DAO partners. There are some, I don't know, I guess I would just call them vendors, right? These are people that the DAO pay. They're not like when I think.
That's a good distinction. Like we don't necessarily. I mean, Pendo doesn't quite fit into DAO partners as much as like I don't know, Itchy or somebody.
Right. This would be Pendo, and I know that marketing uses some tools, and well, you could even consider AWS in here. I'll put a little note for that.
And along the line of privacy lovers, you might have like self-custody, self-custody owners or self-custody wallet holders.
Okay.
Has anyone said the foundation yet?
No, that's a good one.
It might be wise to break out Keep Key users specifically because Keep Key, like the primary interface for it, is once we deprecate beta, it's going to be app.shapeshift.com, right? Yeah. So if we axe them, they're going to be ticked more than Ledger people, for example.
Yep, that's a good one.
I have like 10 of them. I may be in that group.
That's good. Let's see if anybody else has any, and then Mr. Nerdhair will get some more yours. Appreciate that you're allowing a little space for others to pipe in first. Anyone else have another stakeholder? Yeah.
I was just gonna say maybe like individuals that are looking forward to maybe like the roadmap that ideas that we've discussed, like Fox chain and stuff like that. So maybe they're like holding on in hopes of having all those features and new feature sets that might come.
What I could take from that, I think that makes sense is, maybe Fox chain effort is a stakeholder of the DAO, right?
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure where they'd fit under like customers or partners because like we've got customers. Oh, I guess it's down as customers of V2 specifically. Well, we got customers of Unchained as well, and Fox Chain would be one of those.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. Like you could use Unchained for other things. So you've got like or you could even use our V2 repo. You don't even have to be a customer of it, but like developer, and even though we don't have any of these yet, I'll just say devs for short. Devs who fork our open source repos.
I don't know. I mean, we've got Highlander on this call, so I'm not sure you can say we don't have any yet.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Good point.
Should we mention the fact that we have validators? So like Marley's integration with Cosmos and also the current one that we already have with Atom as possible customers because they might be using it to stake on IBC.
Yeah, so we've got how would that Taxi Stake is not a DAO. Taxi Stake is also not a vendor. So they're something different than that, right?
Yeah, I don't know how we would classify it, but they're definitely customers.
Yeah, I mean Taxi Stake is not a customer. But
No,
like
but
I'm
those
just
people
wondering
the
how
people that are staking to the validators that are offering
Oh yeah,
income
that's a good point.
into the treasury. Yeah.
I'm my instinct would be that Taxi Stake falls under DAO partners, and I mean we should probably keep them in mind. But
yeah, even though Taxi Stake is not a DAO, they feel like they're at that kind of partnership level.
oh, you mean okay? I was reading that as partners of the DAO, or as you're reading it as partners who are DAOs.
That is how I was reading. Yeah. But
Yeah, I think we can explain it. You don't have to be a DAO to be our partner.
Yeah.
And DAO to DAO relationships are great, but ultimately just partners with the DAO, I think, is more encompassing.
yeah.
Yeah, but like the stakeholders that are like in IBC, like on Atom and then possibly Osmosis, that because of the recognition of ShapeShift are staking to that individual validator in hopes of gaining whatever from that.
Yeah,
and then, of course,
that's the staking. That's
I got them down here.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see you put it in. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. More from folks.
What about Portis users? Is there a reason we don't have them on here?
That's a good point.
Actually, I'll put them down here with the customer list is getting pretty big.
That's a good problem to have.
Maybe under legacy customers, we should add CoinCap for the time being.
Oh, yes, I think you're right. Yep. What about what do you say, like the DAO movement or something, right? I would say that if we're successful, then it's good for all the whole DAO community. I don't know how would we phrase that?
Like
Web3 community.
Web3 or DAO believers, yeah, definitely.
The DAOverse.
The DAOverse.
DAOverse.
Cool. And then, I mean, if you keep expanding, right, from the Web3 DAO community, you also have all of crypto, right? I don't know what you call that exactly. But if we're successful, the DAO community is successful, which is the whole crypto.
The whole world, in my opinion. But I don't know if we want to be that bold. But yeah, I mean, I really think that what we're building is it's a public good for the world. And
Global.
if the DAO achieves success, then the world benefits as a stakeholder. Every human in the universe.
I think a good differentiating topic is, you said it's vested stakeholders. So I agree, we could benefit the entire world. I'm not sure how vested they are, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think they're vested because if we create this and they stand.
Yeah, and maybe yeah.
And if we don't create it, or if someone doesn't create it, then we're screwed.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have it, and we'll see if
we'll go for our I mean, it does get a little the entirety of civilization thrives when. It would be good for us to if we go with our ethos, it's there's freedom and self-empowerment and stuff like that. It actually could fit.
Mm-hmm.
For Giveth, we had the world as a stakeholder, and I think we got some good content from that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it.
Thinking too small. What about the multiverse?
Now we're talking.
I do think that there's an important distinction between how a centralized company would look at customers and how we should. The customers aren't just necessarily the people that are using our product, but they're all the people that have the choice to use our product. We may make a product and somebody may be like, oh, that's cool, but I'm going to stay with Binance's services or something, and I'm not going to switch. But their life has been enriched somewhat by having another good choice. And, that's sort of how we impact the world in a distilled fashion.
Yeah, it kind of leads to my post about how the DAO itself is the product. And, once when you look at it as the DAO as a product, you have all these intertwined things that can definitely expand off of and build off of. One of the things, Josh, I don't know if you want to put is maybe I don't know if you want to call them social followers, but when Eric or someone with influence does a post, they jump in and want to be involved.
Sure, I could put social followers down. Yep. I'm just looking over this and thinking myself of what else there might be.
I mean, this is getting a bit far afield, but maybe Opolis. I mean, there's no formal connection, but a lot of our full-time people run their stuff through Opolis.
Yeah, I would put
that might be better as a partner. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
That it's a good call. I would put them as a partner. Yeah. I'll even call it out here.
Would it be worthwhile putting Discord user? I mean, just as an environment, people find us through Discord.
Would that be included in where did we DAO community members? I mean, I think that kind of covers.
Yeah, it could definitely.
I don't know, but actually, it's if someone's new to Discord and they don't consider themselves a community member yet, maybe there's what do you?
Yeah, I was also.
I don't know if they're not researching, but people who are looking for community seekers.
Yeah, I was thinking those people that do a search within Discord and ShapeShift pops up as a DAO or something like that, and they go, oh, okay, something like that.
It might be useful making a distinction between the community members on that more side, of a social level, and people who are specifically interested in being potential contributors or prospective contributors. they have a sort of different set of needs and wants and goals and all that. There's a lot of overlap, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's the same for the Fox token holders. I mean, you have the people who hold Fox and got that as an airdrop and just don't do anything with it, and you have the people who actively use it to vote on policy and participate. So maybe there's a good to distinguish between that.
Yeah. So over here, are you saying like people who are thinking about holding Fox tokens? Is that what you're saying?
Or I mean, people who have Fox token and use it to actually participate and use it in the app, and then people who use it who just have it and just have it in their wallet and it just sits.
Yeah, that's a good point. Governance participants, yeah. I mean, I could certainly imagine us making decisions that were good or bad for those group of people.
Yeah, because just token holders, they certainly have some stake in the success of the DAO, but active governance participants have a different type of stake in the DAO. Cool. What else here? So it's starting to look like a good list. Okay. I don't have anything else to add, but here's the deal is that we'll have some time to think about this, right? And everybody can add more as you see fit, as you think about it. So I think what we can do for today is just halt the process now, and we can all share the link to this so everybody can go and add more. Feel free if you think there's some grouping, to do a little bit of arranging. I think that's all right, and everybody can move things around. And then the next one of these is in 2 weeks, which seems like kind of a long. This first step, right? It doesn't. The next step certainly can take more time. I don't think that this step actually needs 2 weeks, but it is when the next time we get together is to start then grouping these because we don't want to do Thrive for all of these. That would be a little. I think that's too much. So we can group them together, do some theming, and then take those themes and bring them over to the stakeholders' Thrive statements.
Yeah.
But
even like spheres of influence, where you have like little spheres of influence and how they influence each other and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's when you start talking about the Thrive statements and you see how the different Thrive statements interact with each other for the different stakeholders.
Yep.
So, but yeah, there's some spheres of influence type thinking there for sure. And that's something that we could bring in at a later stage too. Okay. Anybody have any questions before we break for this? And I'm going to leave these other sections. I'm going to leave them hidden so that some people don't jump the gun, and we'll just leave it simple. Just work at one step at a time. It'll make things go smoother in the end.
Do we want to save a copy of this or screenshot this just in the off chance it does get messed with, erased, destroyed by mistake once we open it up?
That's a good idea. I will make a copy before I share it.
Yep. Best practice.
Cool. Anything else from anybody? And man, now we could go to comments about anything even. It doesn't have to be about this in particular. Okay. Well, thanks for joining. As I said, I'll post this link. I think I'll just do it in the announcements channel because things get buried pretty quick in the general channel. And we'll talk again in 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody.
No, hey, Josh, if you want, you might want to put it in the governance channel as a possibility too.
The governance channel. Okay, yeah, I'll go there.
That might work.
Okay, I'll go there instead. People that are interested in governance will see it there. Okay, and we'll see. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how much
Yeah.
input